I just was going to add to that, in terms of you raise an interesting point about the increased energy demand, and that there's particular increases in energy demand associated with basement, and that's something that's been put into the briefing note for the Sustainable Development and Energy workshop, so it's something that we're looking at, but we note that you support that as an option. Thank you.
I would entirely back what the lady at the front has just said, and it does seem to me to be a bit of a preference. In my short experience on planning, there's a tendency to go for permission rather than not, and I would want to see the presumption being the other way, in line with the sorts of remarks that have just been said. I'd also like to clarify whether, I don't think it's the case, but because it's been raised, is there any likelihood of, in this new sort of regime that we're sort of planning, of making a formal connection between the planning application and noise requirements? I mean, as far as I know, there won't be, so I don't think we ought to hold out too much hope about that.
I think in terms of, I mean, the core strategy is the overarching document that sits above it, and it's got far clearer links out to other activities of not just within the council, but certainly other partners, so the PCT, and it's got issues surrounding health and well-being that are at a far more strategic level, and there's clear relationships between what's in that document and the emerging noise strategy that the council's putting out, and the issues around that. So I think for those sorts of broader relationships with other council functions and other legislation, I think they're better expressed in the core strategy than the detailed policies of a city management plan. Whether or not that gives you some comfort, I don't know.
I mean, I could add there that it's obviously something to explore as part of this process, but it's certainly the case that conditions are applied to planning permissions which restrict noise levels on certain aspects of a development, for example plant, or even sound transmission between one building and another building. They are conditions that are applied, whether they are those are successfully
I'm not sure that it's going to be possible.
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry. Yeah, exactly. You've just said, did you not, that
no, yeah,
you could put a condition on noise?
For certain aspects of it. I think the confusion there was, I think the point was being made about noise of construction.
Yes, yes.
But what I was actually making reference to is noise. There are opportunities for noise control to be imposed on certain elements of development, for example, plant.
Right, and within certain hours as well.
Yeah, but I wasn't, sorry, I
yes.
maybe I misunderstood. I wasn't talking about actual noise of construction itself.
Operation machinery.
That is the problem.
Nigel Hughes from Grosvenor. About 10% of our Belgravia estate is in Kensington and Chelsea, and we welcome the SPD that's been published by them because it does control both what you can do and how you do it. And the amount of information that is required in order to carry out an underground basement extension is such that it probably will put most people off in terms of both sustainability, the working methods, and other issues. So from our perspective, we'd welcome it if Westminster followed the same approach.
Thank you. Okay, I think we've more or less dealt with questions 1 through to 3. 1 and 2, which was to do with the basements and the gardens. So I think we should move on to question 3. Should we be more flexible in allowing renewable energy technology and equipment at the rear of buildings? For example, solar panels and photovoltaics. But I guess that would extend to living roofs or any other sort of thing that improves a building's performance.
Even in a conservation area, I would like to see when a mansard roof is permitted on a listed building, I think that it should incorporate these issues and be a good design, a good modern design, and not just a replica of a Victorian mansard roof. I think that would kill 2 birds with 1 stone, or many more, because you could sort out all the insulation, solar panels, water collection, all up there, and insulate the roof as well, and have a modern design as well. I would say that it would be quite good as well if it wasn't seen from the street.
Thank you. Was there an... Yeah.
Although just one point, so often it's how it's done and the quality and commitment to the installation, the design of the installation, again, particularly in relation to historic buildings. I went to see the other day the much vaunted scheme on the roof of St James's Church, Piccadilly, given the fact I'm contemplating doing a similar scheme on a church in West London. And I was much disappointed in that a great deal of interest has been shown in that particular project, but it is rather poorly executed, and so much depends upon this approach, detailed design, why the policies need to be open to accept the principle, but then to make sure that the quality and the commitment to the design solution is got right. So it's a careful approach, a balanced approach, I think, is necessary.